Walk with me. So I was having a conversation the other day with one of my, I guess you call them personal mentors, someone who I've intentionally gone and spent time with monthly for years now. I think we might be going on 5-6 years. How many of you have people in your life that no matter what you're going through, no matter what season, you can go with no agenda, no motive, and just have candid conversation, and it always slips into something that's just inspiring, something that's always kind of mind-opening. And this is that individual for me. I've actually interviewed him a couple times on the podcast, but we were having a conversation super recently, and it kind of slipped into the importance of living in the present. Now go with me here, because I've also heard this 4 million ways, 4 million times, right? That, hey, we're not living in the present. We got to appreciate the now. And we've all heard this from so many different people, and the importance of it, that it's almost kind of a recurring cliche. And I've always acknowledged it, say, yeah, of course. But this conversation particularly just got me, I don't know, thinking about that conversation, about that importance in a totally different way than I've ever really thought about it before. And I want to have that conversation with you all in hopes that I can kind of transfer the mindset shift that I experience to all of you, because I think it's a super important one for all of us as individuals, especially in the season we're all in as a world right now. It's an exciting season. It's a season of shift, a season of transformation, a season of hope, a season of light. I hope you feel that. And I think this point is so important to not only hear, but really understand and actually implement. So before I explain what I mean and really the perspective shift that I want to give, I'm going to ask who's by my side today. Sun is out. Hey, trail's pretty empty this morning here. And don't be shy, say hello below. I want a hi, hello, high five. Let me know where you're plugging in from. I know we got a global audience that generally walks together live. If you're new to the crew, welcome. Put it on your calendar. Wednesday mornings, usually around this time, live right here. Past conversations on the podcast, alive by design. I love all you subscribers. I appreciate your comments and reviews. Pause, side note. Important point, I do really get a lot out of when you actually take the time to leave a review on the podcast, or send me a DM on my Instagram on something you got out of our conversations. It's why I do what I do, and it reinforces that it's making a difference. So thank you for those of you that take the 20 seconds out of your day. It does make a difference to me. And if you're new to the crew, hey, only request here is that you collaborate, participate. Don't be shy behind a screen. If you're walking with us, awesome. If you're in the middle of something else, awesome. But please leave some perspective in the comments below, as that helps all of us. This isn't a monologue. This is a collaborative conversation. And the power of now, the importance of living in the present, and what in the world that really means. So I want you to think about, real quick, we've been talking a lot this year, or at least I have, about energy. For those of you guys that caught our conversation coming into the new year, that's my personal theme for the year, is managing my energy. What I'm allowing to take energy from me, and what I'm intentionally surrounding myself with that gives me energy. We've had a bunch of conversations on my list. I've challenged you to make your list. Some of you, I hope, have. We've talked about how I don't think time is our issue. So many people think that they have time management problems. And I really think when you peel back the onion, most people, it's not time management, it's energy management. We're letting our energy leak out in so many different ways and places and to so many different people that we don't have the energy left over to do the things that are most meaningful, that are most important to us and for the benefit of those around us. So I've been talking a lot about this energy concept, and let's go deeper here, but through the lens of presence. If I were to ask you right now, how much of your energy, and energy is a collective of all your time, focus, feeling, right? We got to look at all of those things. It's not just time measured in like minutes or hours, but it's also focus measured in mental space. Like, how often are we doing one thing where our time is going, but our mental focus is somewhere else? Like, our time may not be all in one direction, but our focus during that period is. And sometimes what we focus on is what we feel, right? So beyond what we focus, our feelings, our emotions, sometimes we transfer out of what we're even consciously focused on, but we still have the hangover of emotional feeling from what we were thinking. You guys understand what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we're doing it, sometimes we're focused on it, thinking about it, sometimes we're feeling it, sometimes all at the same time, sometimes all at different times, but all of that is like what I call, like, it's our energy, right? So, and I know this is an interesting question, you've probably never been asked. I'd never really thought about it this way. But how much of your energy, how much of all of that, if somehow you're able to measure, able to quantify your time, your thoughts, right, your focus, and your feelings, your emotions. And if all of that were one percentage, one number, what percentage of your energy, let's just say this year so far, 2022, crazy. We're already into the third month, almost a quarter of the way through. What percentage of your energy is actually going into the present moment? What percentage of your energy is going into your past? And what percentage is going into your future? Whether that's a minute ahead, a month ahead, a year ahead, or an unknown ahead. And I'm not here to give you a math lesson, but percentage has to equal 100%. So if you only have 100% of your energy, and you were to do a real honest self-assessment, a look hard in the mirror, a reflection on 2022 so far, what would the percentage breakup be? What percentage? And again, not just your time, but your time, your focus, your thoughts, your feelings is on something already behind you. What percentage is on what's ahead of you? And what percentage is actually really, truly in the present moment right now? It's an interesting question if you really think about it that way. Here's a quick view from the top. Check it out. I'm gonna sit on our rock. You guys know our rock. Here's our rock. Take this watermelon sweets out of my pocket. I promise you, this is like my new favorite flavor. And I know I said that last month when we launched Groovy Grape because that was my new favorite flavor, but watermelon sweets, brand new, freaking off the charts. It's like a watermelon Jolly Rancher, but energy boost for your body and brain. I don't know how they do it, but I love it. So let me unpack this and explain what I mean. So when we talk about the past, think about it. How much of our time, how much of our focus do we spend dwelling on something that happened, looking backward? And backward can be something that happened an hour ago. It could be something that happened last week. It could be something that happened last year. It could be something that happened a decade ago. How often do we slip in looking in the rear view mirror? And we can go any number of ways when we look backwards. We can look in the rear view mirror and be like, oh, why did that happen? We can look in the rear view mirror of, man, I should have done something differently, right? Woulda, shoulda, coulda, a lens of regret. We can look in the mirror in terms of nostalgia. We can look in the rearview mirror in terms of things you once had that maybe are no longer, from a lens of loss. We can look in the rearview mirror so many different ways. And not all are a negative lens. Maybe you're looking in the rearview mirror of some amazing moments. Maybe you're looking in the rearview mirror of, some of your personal highlights, some of your happiest times, right? So I'm not here to say it's all negative. I'm just here to ask how much of you and your energy is looking backward. in the past, for better or worse, for positive or negative. And again, it's not all negative. As a matter of fact, I think we should look back in order to be grateful and appreciate the things we've had. We should look back through a lens of learning and improving and growing in the pursuit of better, right? So don't get me wrong, we're not robots. You can't like instantly erase every minute that's behind you. We gotta enjoy that. That's life. Matter of fact, what is behind us is collectively our life up until this point. So hopefully you are looking back and grabbing some things you appreciate, some things you're grateful for, some highlights, some smiles, some joy, and storing all of that, because that timeline is your life up until this point. But again, the point of this conversation is, what percentage are you putting into what's behind? Same question and what's ahead. Now this one's interesting because our brains are built in a beautiful way to constantly evaluate and anticipate every possible option that could potentially happen from a lens of survival, from a lens of fear in order to protect. So we're constantly coming up with scenarios every which way of things that could potentially happen as a survival reflex. We are built, wired that way. So when you really stop and think about it, how much of your time is going into the future? And the future could be tomorrow, could be next month, could be next year. In how many different directions? I mean, you sit and you hear a report from a news channel, or you read a tweet, or you see something on social media, and all of a sudden your brain goes 50 different ways into the future of all the different potential possibilities that are completely unknown and uncontrollable. And now your time is going there, your focus and your thoughts are going there, and depending on which direction you go, your emotions are getting dragged there. And how much of you, what percentage is living in the future? Think about it. Think about it. And I won't amplify the time and the thoughts by, hey, if you go too far down the wrong rabbit hole, man, your emotional energy goes that direction. And it takes a long time to shift that energy. You might shift your physical body or your attention to a whole new different direction, but your feeling of where you put yourself, that could last hours or days. Matter of fact, guys, what I'm describing conceptually, right? We give words like anxiety. Isn't anxiety just our emotions getting stuck because we went too far into the future of something unknown or something we can't control, that 99.999% of the things we think about and allow us to hijack our emotions never happen? We've survived 100% of the things in the past, yet we still play this game, and that we label anxiety, stress, overwhelmness, right? All this weight of emotion, but it's all living in the future. You know, or we look back and we get sad or angry or frustrated or regretful or depressed. And, you know, I'm not here to make a statement on like clinical diagnosis of depression. Obviously, that's a whole different level. But I think you guys are getting the gist. Like when we spend time looking backwards or looking forwards, that's what leads to these feelings. And again, my question of this conversation is how much time? What percentage so far year to date? If you were to literally pick a percentage, not metaphorically, literally, what percentage of your energy is in the past? What percentage of your energy is in the future? And then obviously whatever percentage is left is what's left in the middle, the now, the actual present now, where all of your energy, meaning your physical presence in time, your mental focus and thoughts, and your emotional feelings are all in the present moment. And let me just highlight all in the present moment. Well, Blake, I'm present with my, kids every night. Well, are you? With all your energy? You might be physically present. Your time might be present. But are your thoughts right there in that moment with them, or your thoughts on what happened from the day earlier, or the thoughts on what you have on the schedule for tomorrow? Because that's not full presence. Physically, yeah, but mentally and emotionally, no. And I hate to highlight the social media effect, but how often are we in physical presence of friends, family, people, and yet constantly checking our phone and being triggered by a post, a message, a DM, an alert, a notification, a call, a WhatsApp, a Telegram? You guys get the gist. Now, again, not all of us is in the present. We're physically there, but we're mentally somewhere else. Therefore, we're emotionally somewhere else. I mean, we've all been guilty of being physically places, trying to be fully present, And then boom, a glance at a phone puts us into a different thought pattern and hijacks our emotions. And sometimes that pulls you out of the present for the rest of the night, the rest of the day, the rest of the hour. So when you really look at that present moment and you really understand that it's not just your physical, but I'm talking all of you, your thoughts, right? And your emotions, all your energy. And we were to really be true rating ourselves, what percentage would it be? What percentage in the past? What percentage in the future? What percentage in the present? Think about it. What percentage would it be? There's no right or wrong. Don't get in your own way and not give yourself an answer. If you were to draw that percentage in symmetrical circles, right? Think about it. How big of a circle would represent your past? How big of a circle would represent your future? And how big of a circle would be left there in your present? It's a good visual way to think about a percentage. And here's the punchline of this whole thought process, at least that hit me, is how much of your life are you really living in the now? All of you, all of your energy. And then here's the real question. If the now, if the present is the only thing that is really your life, because what's behind you is done, what's ahead of you is unknown, the only thing that is your actual life is what's happening right now. And you look at that percentage, you're like, that's the percentage of my life I'm actually actively living. That's a pretty mind-opening shift. Because I think for most of us, most of the time, we're not actively living most of our life. We're stuck in the rearview mirror looking out the windshield, not in the driver's seat. Appreciating the moments, enjoying the moments, recognizing the moments. Not just the great, the good and the bad, the lessons and the victories in the now. And I guess here's the good news, regardless of what that percentage is over the last couple months, it can shift just like that. First with awareness in a conversation like this, then a conscious decision to take it from wherever it is to wherever you want it to be. And I look at the delta as our potential, whatever percentage we're living in the moment right now, all the way up to the 100%, that's the opportunity we have to improve our level of living, to improve, right, how actively we are living what is real today. And something we can all work on. And don't get me wrong, I don't think it's ever going to be 100% for anybody, no matter what they say. I think our mind is built to go backwards and to go forwards. And I think there's value in that, acknowledging and being grateful for what's behind and thinking strategically and affirming and having a vision for the future. I think all of that is important. What percentage is the right percentage? I don't know. I think that's probably relevant to each and every one of us individually. But I think this conversation hopefully does for you what it did for me. It's kind of highlight how much of our life we're maybe putting in the wrong direction to create some bandwidth to put more on what's happening right now for us. So my challenge for myself between now and June is an arbitrary date, but between now and June was to be conscious about this and to put more time in that present circle, more time in that now circle. To recognize when my mind starts going too far in the past or too far in the future, which happens a lot, especially the future for me. I live most of my life naturally in the future. I don't know if any of you guys can relate. But to stop for a minute and say, okay, how much of this is serving me and how much of this do I got to take back so I can put time and energy into what's happening in this moment right now, actively living the life we have right now. So I challenge you, set a goal. Maybe the goal is 1 week. Maybe it's this week, right? Maybe the goal is a month. Maybe the goal is longer. Maybe you want to join me in June for whatever reason. But let's set a goal for all of us to balance out those circles a little bit, shrink the circles of the past and the future and grow that one in the middle, a little more balance in our lives. And I think we'll find a little more enjoyment in everything that's going on in the now, right now, despite what season we're in and everything that's going on around us. One more view from the top. Sun is out, beautiful day. Hey, what'd you think of our conversation today? Did I transfer the energy and the thought process that went through my mind in that inspired conversation? I hope I did. If I did, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts, your perspective, anything you want to add. Hey, if you want to know what percentage, or let us all know what percentage you're living or what your goal percentage is, let us know below. We'll help hold you accountable. That's what this is about, is pursuing better. And hey, as always, I know there's someone in your life that needs this right now, and now you have a gift to be able to share. Tag them in the comments below. Press share on the feed to share with your peer group. And again, catch conversations on the podcast where they'll live past and current. And I love and appreciate all you subscribers and reviews. It means a lot to me. Until then, let's grow that middle circle. And hopefully this helps take the cliche of living in the present and living in the now to a whole new level of perspective so we can pursue better in our own lives. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.